The heat shield tiles on the Space Shuttle are so fragile you can crumble them in your hand, yet they withstand 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Nixon signed the Space Shuttle program into existence in January 5, 1972, right as the Apollo missions were wrapping up. The whole idea was reusability, just like SpaceX is doing now. Everything was supposed to come back to Earth gently so they could use it again, but the technology at the time made recovering the booster rockets too expensive, so they scrapped that plan. When they decided to scrap the booster rockets, the budget went from $10 billion to $5 billion. In 1972, $1 billion was imaginary money to the general population, and honestly, it still kind of is. It took almost 10 years before the first shuttle actually launched. Columbia lifted off April 12, 1981, with astronauts John Young and Bob Crippen aboard for a 2-day mission. Commander John Young called the flight something just short of a miracle. This was the space program I grew up with. People grew up watching Apollo, watching them walk on the moon and do that stuff. This was supposed to be the one that would take us to Mars. This was the one that was supposed to be commercially available to us. By the time I became an adult, we were supposed to be able to fly to the moon just as easily as you can fly to Denver. That was the promise. But they never really got the safety down. Challenger blew up on my 15th birthday. We were all watching live because Krista McAuliffe, the school teacher, won an award that allowed her to go on the Space Shuttle. It was a national competition, a Best Teacher award. Classrooms all across America pulled out their AV cards, their audio-visual cards, and had the children watching as the Space Shuttle blew up in front of our eyes, 72 seconds after liftoff. Those of us who were old enough to understand just watched people explode on live television and then went back to class. Columbia blew up on reentry in 2003 because the heat shield was damaged during launch. Because it was damaged during reentry, the heat melted the controls and made them blow up on their way in. On Challenger, it was a valve on the oxygen supply tank for the fuel system. When they fired off the booster rockets, it caused a spark and caused the whole thing to blow up. Those heat shield tiles, though, they're made so they can handle the transition from the void of space at around negative 270 degrees to re-entry temperatures that reach 3000 degrees. The tiles are mostly air, 90% empty space, which is why you can crush one by hand, but that's also what makes them work as insulation. The Space Shuttle fleet traveled a combined 513 million miles. That's enough to get to the sun and back more than twice. It's only 93 million miles to the sun. The program flew 135 missions over 30 years, and each orbiter was designed to last 100 launches or 10 years. When they ended the program in 2011, after 30 years, they took the remaining space shuttles and put them in museums. Atlantis is at Kennedy Space Center in Florida, Enterprise is at the Intrepid Sea and Air Museum in New York, Endeavour is at the California Science Center, and Discovery is at the Smithsonian. You'll notice, absolutely missing from that list, though, is Houston. When you think about the space program, when you start talking about how ubiquitous the phrase, Houston, we have a problem, is, when you think about the space program, NASA is right here. Our nickname is Space City, and we didn't get a space shuttle? There was controversy. There are a lot of Houstonians that are quite bitter over that. I wasn't a Houstonian yet in 2011, so I wasn't part of that initial outrage. But I am a Houstonian now, and I am outraged. The sheer audacity of someone who would take the space program and completely ignore Houston, the home city of NASA.